Here is beautiful North Pier. And I used to work at a club called Baja Beach Club here on Illinois. And North Pier is down the street from Navy Pier. Here is the boats and everything that are on the river here at North Pier. You can see them. They're parked parallel to the pier, just like they are on Navy Pier. Now, you could park them in a way that they park straight in, but then you have to have a pier extending out to them. So it's a little interesting, but you could do it where you could outfit it to get more boats. And then this is a good movement right here in Chicago. As you can see the sign right here. It says to clean up after your pet. So, again, now we're talking Streeterville here. And you have boat tours that you can go down here. And let me back up and I'll show you the sign for the boat tours. And I'll give a better one. Let me get out of the car. I'll just put on the flashers. Since I'm down here at 3 in the morning, I shouldn't really have any problem. So you get right up here, pinch on the river, Mediterranean food, dessert, and wine. And then a few other places right here. But here's the sign. Chicago Line Cruise, architectural, historical tours, jazz cruise, fireworks cruise. Navy Pier has fireworks. They take you out for the fireworks on Navy Pier on Friday, I think Friday, Saturday, not on Sunday night. Winter Jazz Club. But you can see down the pier here. So, and right here you can dine outside on the river right here as well. And you got some boats right here. And so you got a new building going up right there. So you got a new structure going up. And then you got your Starbucks sign right here, and that's the Target. But it's kind of cool because this used to be our outside patio for Baja Beach Club. And now you have a Target up there, and I guess they have a dining area. And it looks like on the first floor here, they're doing some redevelopment. But you can see the Target that went into this building. And so it's a pretty beautiful spot to be in. And the building inside in that was all redone, and it was made incredibly structurally sound. Truly, it was a well-built structure. And so you have this area that's right down the street from Navy Pier. And sorry, with the camera, I'm putting on my seatbelt. No cars have the automatic seatbelts anymore. Like, they brought the automatic seatbelts into the Saturn a long time ago. So you didn't have to worry. You just got in and the seatbelt automatically adjusted to you. So here we're going down the street to Navy Pier. And again, there should be an association of piers, Navy and North Pier, working together as one organization. Truly, they're separate, but they need to meet and work together as one entity. They don't really compete. And they would bring much more people down here. And then if you throw in the 21 down here, where they have the AMC 21 and the bowling and so on, that's down here, again, they could really incredibly develop this area. And now you have Lake Point Towers. That's right here. That's residential. But in this building, they have a Mexican restaurant as its commercial tenant down here. But they should have a penthouse sky deck observation and restaurant. So here's the restaurant. This is part of Casa Margarita, means the home of the margarita. Burgers, tacos, burgers, margaritas, and beers. And it's right here, and it's part of Lake Point Tower. But they can have a sky deck here. And it would be perfect because they could see out over the lake beautifully. A sky deck and restaurant up top. So, again, here is Navy Pier. And then you have North Pier that can further work with this. And you have all this area that's off the pier to my right over here that you can't see, but they have all kinds of boats over here as well. And then there's the ones that are directly connected to the pier. So there's a bunch of boats directly connected to the pier. And so this is the pier's development. I mean, I was here when it was redeveloped. And then they excuse me, added this beautiful area in front of the pier where it has a water fountain, and it's really a fun area here. And this is a Polk Brothers Park here, and it's a nice small park right in front of the pier. It was nicely done. And then they're developing the backside of the pier, and this is going to become a whole boat dock area. So, again, you can see down here that in the pier, they're going to develop this whole area into a boat dock. So, anyways, and this is the bus depot right at the pier. And so, you have Lake Point Towers, as you can see up to the top of it. And let me zoom in, and go skyward. But all the way up there, they can have a sky deck. And why would you say it would be beneficial? The Tenants Association would buy it out, create a sky deck, observation deck, and restaurant up there, and it would bring in tons of money into the building. And so not only the observation deck at the Sears Tower or the John Hancock, but you would have an observation deck here that can see out perfectly over the whole Lake Michigan, because it's east of Lakeshore Drive without interruption. And so the people that are in this building could buy it out and develop it, and it would be a beautiful public restaurant and everything up there, and beautiful observation deck. And you don't have that at Navy Pier. Now, at the end of the pier, I would assume they have those little, telescopes that you can look out on the water. But they would have that up there, like they do in the movie with Tom Hanks, Sleepless in Seattle, when they meet at the top of the Empire State Building. And you get tokens, and you put it in, and you can see through the telescopes. So they're paid telescopes. So in the movie Sleepless in Seattle. So again, I'll show you the other part down here, what I'm talking it should integrate with, and I'll go around. But again, this brings great value to the area. And if you're a realtor, you should be putting one of these together for yourself. If you have condos here or rental units or commercial units, and put this little internal video that you share or use on YouTube to market. You can market real estate and projects on YouTube. And it's another way, if you get enough clicks, to generate money. But the whole point is you put this together for people to see. And if you don't want it, you can keep it private if you're afraid people duplicating. And then you just share it with prospective investors. And all they do is go to your YouTube private page and they have access to the video. Excuse me. So, again, why wouldn't you do this as a realtor? You know, get Geography by Jeff. He does a good job, and he can give you some of the geography of the area so they can understand the topographical and the history of the area. And so you can have them put together a little geography of the area, a little history of it, a backstory like Larry Potash does for WGN, and History by Jeff or Geography by Jeff on YouTube. He can put that together. And he should be looking to work with realtors in that, project developers, to put together a little bit of historical detail of the area, so people can get a feel for where it was, where it is, and where it's going. So here's the Embassy Suite, and it's right across the street from a Whole Foods I used to go to. But they have a little sitting area right here by the street, which is nice. But now you got beautiful hotels. And if I'm doing a marketing video for the Sheraton Hotel, and then over here is the Lowe's Hotel, I'll drive by that. But these are marketing videos that they would be pumping out, saying, why stay at this Sheraton Hotel in Chicago, or why stay at this Lowe's Hotel? So it can show you the beautiful things around it and why you wouldn't choose to stay at this property, or why you would choose to stay at the Hyatt. But again, you have the AMC and the bowling right here. And so you have the AMC and the bowling. It's a 21, and below it is a Japanese restaurant, New, NIU, and it has really good Japanese food. I used to go in there all the time. And the funny thing is, it was a white bartender initially. Then it went to a female, but the white bartender was there for a long time, and we became friends. He's a good guy, but he was a white bartender at a Japanese restaurant, and he did a really good job. And he bartended there for a long time. Now they have a little park area right here that the Sheraton and the Lowe's. Here's the Lowe's Hotel. It's a beautiful hotel right here. But they're supposed to be pumping out this video to drive people to the property. And again, I was part of a networking organization in Chicago that was all hotel sales managers and hotel sales staff. Yeah. It was part of a sales organization, a networking organization that was just hotel salespeople and hotel sales managers. Their managers and staff were part of this networking. So I meant at the Swiss Hotel, you name it. And this is before. And I was helping this kid. He was a white kid dating this girl. And he had this problem with the relationship. And the problem was that he didn't finish his undergrad, and she graduated and was doing very successful and so on. And she expected him to be, achieve and get his undergraduate degree and everything else. And I told him, it's no problem. If you really love her, tell her you'll put a plan together with her and that you'll get this degree over a period of time while you're dating. And if she really wants to be with you, she'll work with you to ascertain this college degree that you need, that she wants you to have before you get married. Truly. And he was sweating and he didn't think about it. He's like, oh, yeah, maybe she will work with me and put a plan together. And then we can work mutually together. And by the time we're ready to get married, I'll have my college degree and she'll have what she wants, meaning be able to tell her family and everything that I'm with a good man, he has a good education, we have a bright future, and so on. And it will help him move up in the hotel sales business if he was trying to. But the whole point is having them see the vision to a brighter future. And just because you don't have it now doesn't mean you can't ascertain it, but you have to be with somebody that believes in you and you believe in them, and you're committed to each other to work through. Like Jen, I promised her I would get my master's degree. That was truly a promise that I gave to her, that I was on my way to get my master's degree, and it was something that I wanted to keep my promise. But I was taken away from me. But anyways, here's the Hyatt right here, the Regency. And again, all of this, and then you got the Trump Tower, and then you got all the boats and everything. And again, these hotels should be working with to put together these videos, like the Chicago Marathon and that. Staying down here, staying for the marathon, and they should put clips from runners and their experience staying in the hotel and participating in the Chicago Marathon or different big events, and helping them propel everything forward. So again, I don't understand why the hotels wouldn't be putting this together, and that moving Chicago into a brighter future. And one way is getting rid of all the homeless, because there's no reason for them to exist. They either need to get with the program or they need to go to jail for vagrancy. It's either or. They don't have a choice. So, again, here's Millennium Park in the parks, and it leads up to Grant Park. And this is all part of one big entertainment area. Because, like I said, on the other side of the river, you have Navy Pier and everything. On one side of the river, Navy Pier, North Pier, and all that. And then on the other side of the river, going down Columbus, yes, Christopher Columbus, or Columbus Drive, I think it is. And you have this big entertainment mecca as well. And this has the theater district and everything else. So if you think about it, it's a pretty it's maybe 1.5 miles to 2 mile square area. That's one big entertainment district. I mean, seriously, a huge entertainment district. But Chicago hasn't put a package together that shows it as this mega entertainment. And this includes Northerly Island and the Shed Aquarium and the Planetarium. Northerly Island is where you have all kinds of events right on Lake Michigan. All kinds of concerts, They can have plays at Northerly Island, truly theatrical plays and concerts and different types of events. So puppet shows, maybe. Again, putting it together, you'd have these big events. And so, again, this is one big entertainment district. And what's around here? The CCC, Columbia College of Chicago. It's right here. Roosevelt University, National Louis University is right here. Right behind me is Northwestern Medical School and law school and graduate programs. Right behind me is University of Chicago graduate programs. Not too far down is the UIC Law School, Kent, and many other. So it's all right around here. So it's a great recruiting video for the undergraduate and graduate programs that are around here to bring people into the city of Chicago, attracting top talent in undergraduates and top talent in graduate schools. So again, this is not only for tourism, this is campus life. This is the amenities that students will experience if they go to Roosevelt University or Robert Morris University or DePaul University downtown here. Truly, or not too far away is UIC, University of Illinois, Chicago. So they'll experience this immense culture and immense experience. So this is a recruiting video for them. So, again, and we're right here by Buckingham Fountain, and I don't understand why the fountain doesn't stay on all day and night. Why turn off the fountain? The water regenerates, and if you want, you can use solar panels that capture energy and so on, but it should stay on 24 hours a day. So there's no reason to shut off the fountain. So again, Chicago is supposed to be creating this image of incredible experience. And these people are supposed to make sure Chicago is safe. So every day you're in Chicago, it's an incredibly positive experience. And if they're doing their job, then it is. And if they're not, they should be terminated and replaced. Because every day should be a positive, incredible, positive experience. Or if I was taking over the police department, believe me, I would change it and it would be highly efficient and highly safe. And every day would be a good day because the bad guys would not even exist. Oh, yeah. There would be no bad guys worrying about people rolling up with guns or muggings or any of that. Because that's what all the detectives and everything else, and I would be putting together everything that needed. And believe me, it would be incredibly safe and peaceful, and you would never have to worry. Truly, you could be the President of the United States and walk freely everywhere and never have to worry. But if they're not doing their job, then you have to worry. If they're incompetent, you have to worry. But if they're competent, there's no worries. So I do hold them accountable. And it seems like the chief of police, from one to another, have been highly incompetent. Because the last black chief of police who's gone and a new one came in, we became the murder capital of the United States under him. Things didn't get better under him, they got worse. And then we got another black chief of police, and now they say it's getting better. Well, it seems like they don't have the mental fortitude, meaning they don't come from this highly background of incredible tactical understanding to to be able to implement strategies that wipes out crime and keeps it wiped out. Because if you're leading the chief of police, and this is what I hate about, we need racial diversity. Well, how did that do for the black community when they say we need racial diversity? They got it in their congressman, Jackson, who went and was a thief. They got it in Bobby Rush, who stole $5 million in anti-violent funds. They got it in many of their black leadership, as Thomas said, a black economist that sold them out. So how did that work well in Detroit, where it was all black leadership, all black city council, and it went bankrupt? How did that work in Baltimore, Maryland, or other places? So you have to put the people in place regardless of race. I'm not saying it's white people. I said regardless of race. I love that Jennifer Kim, not my Jennifer Kim, but she was the city prosecutor and highly capable. She's Asian, but the whole point is putting highly capable people in place. That's what colorblind is. You put the best people in the right places to be able to execute. And if you can't execute, then you have to go. So I hate this idea of saying we have to give one for, the first black president of the United States. I don't give a crap. If it's black presidents one after another, so be it. But the whole point is, either you're the best or you gotta go. And I don't understand what this person is doing. But again, here's Northerly Island. And you have the boats and everything else. But like I said, the Chicago Yacht Club and all this, it can get involved in this. You know how many different technical college like University of Chicago can offer all kinds of technical designations, and it does through the Graham School. And there's all kinds of technical designations related to boating. So again, all kinds of stuff related to boating. So again, there's tons of boats down here and beautiful waterfront and everything else. But you have to have the people implementing the right things. And so leadership matters. That's why there's no coup in heaven. There's no replacing God. It's an irreplaceable leadership. There is no replacing or retiring. And if you can't handle it, like Satan found out, then there's hell for you. Because there's only one leader, and that leader is going to stay there as long as they want. And his thing is forever. So, again, putting the right people in place. So age is less of an issue anymore as we understand it and we can overcome the challenges. And those people hold the throne. That's why Warren Buffett, why do I want him to retire? If you're functioning at a high rate with all that experience and history at 100 years old, you're more valuable than you were at 20, 30, 40, 50? And who said that? So the one female, what's her name? She's a Greek goddess. But anyway, Sophia Lorenz, she said, at 70, I know more and everything is better my knowledge and wisdom is much better. I never want to go back to 20 or 30 because I was ignorant. The stuff I know and the abilities I have is incredible. I love being 70. So Warren Buffett is only getting smarter as he stays in the game. So he's only getting smarter. That's why the government installed lifetime learning. And so stepping down, the Pope's appointed for life. There's no stepping down. You're only supposed to get smarter. You end up dying in your position. So Warren Buffett should never retire. Why? He's only getting smarter by the day. As long as he does the right things to keep his mind healthy, it's like Stephen Hawking. He worked to the day he died. And he was a quadriplegic, but even at almost 80 years old, there was no more, literally almost no one smarter in the world than astrophysics. At 76, he died, and even there, he was still the smartest person in the world in his position. So, again, he was only getting smarter. So, stepping down, why step down? You can move into different roles. Like Bill Gates left Microsoft and went into the foundation, okay. But again, he's still getting smarter. So he's getting wiser and wiser, unless he just folds it up. If you want to fold up shop and cash in your chips and cash out, well, then yeah. But like my partner David, every day he read the Wall Street Journal. He went in, read the Wall Street Journal. He was abreast of all the webinars. And he was only getting smarter at 65 when I left him. He was only getting smarter. So there was no retiring. And he was running bank consulting at 65. And he was looking to start a new bank, which he was starting to start a new bank with, I forget, the other guy. He would have been a white guy and that he was partners with. And they were talking about starting a new bank together. He was starting a new bank at age 65. And I got along well with that guy, and I could have been part of that whole banking operation. And I could have ran the financial planning and everything else. So he was only moving on to greater stuff. So he wasn't looking to cash in his chips. And he was 65. He was looking to start a new bank and build it out. Truly build out a whole new empire. So, again, why cash it in? You can travel and do all these things. There's so many seminars and educational events. You can go all over the place and intertwine all kinds of recreation while you're there. Truly, Jen used to do it when she traveled. Everywhere she went for consulting, at night when she got off, she would go to a different restaurant or go visit a different place. And so she was intertwining work with pleasure all the time. And then when she'd come back, she open up her computer and do a little bit of more work before she went back to bed. But everywhere she was experiencing. I went up and visited her in Philadelphia, and we went to Pat and Jean's to have original hoagie, a Philadelphia hoagie sandwich. And so we used to do this stuff together, and she was working for Wawa, I think, or maybe that was the second time I was there, but the second time we stayed at a bed and breakfast in Connecticut. It was awesome. So, again, Why would you wind it down? There is no reason to, meaning cash it in. John Bogle didn't want to cash it in, and finally he moved into a consulting role for Vanguard. And it worked for both Vanguard and for John Bogle. And so he founded Vanguard, and he created and brought it up. And then he moved into a consulting role, giving him more flexibility on a daily basis. And so, again, he didn't retire. He worked all the way until he passed away. But he still experienced a great life. So anyone talks about cashing it in, I come from the school of God. There's no cashing it in. There is staying with it all the way until you die, and then moving into heaven and taking my position and continuing my work there. That's the way it's going to be. I'm to sit on the right-hand side of God in a place of honor, continuing on my work in heaven. So my work will be done here, and I will be doing things throughout the heavens. But it will never stop. It's just a transitional step. So there's no cashing it in. So they got it all wrong. Jack Welch left General Electric, and he started his consulting business, and he does incredibly well. And he was 70s, 80s. He's never retiring. So these people are going out in their boots, but they love what they do, and they're good at it. Why would you want them to ever retire? Truly. Because you want some inferior person to step into the role? Inferior? I'll take the superior. I don't want the inferior, where they're going to go through the learning curves and everything else. Bull. Those people keep in their positions until the day they die, and they should be getting smarter and smarter, and that people under them get mentored for long periods of time and eventually get it. But they're incredibly wise, and they work until the day they die. That's how it's designed. Unlike the tailgaters, they should be put away immediately. And the faster, the better. It's called domestic terrorism. And they are terrorists. So, again, getting back to this, I'm going back to the other side where Northwestern is and everything. So, these are supposed to be longevity centers, hospitals. University of Phoenix, what did the founder do? He started Kronos, called Time. And he was creating a whole new look at hospitals. Not hospitals where they try to keep you alive. He was creating a whole new hospital where it's all about longevity. Keeping you from getting sick and extending your life. So he was creating a whole new paradigm in hospitals to give you this incredible longevity. And that's what they're supposed to be going into, longevity clinics. Kronos is in Phoenix, and it's a longevity clinic focused on keeping you healthy and giving you longer, healthier life. Kronos means time. And so he got into cryogenics and many other things. And it's all about extending life and extending longer and healthier and more fulfilling life. Not depriving. So those are the scumbag satanic people that I'm around. Truly, they are. They're devils or demons. So, again, I'm around a lot of devils and demons. Boom. So they look to suck the life out of you. That's why Corey, he knows people like that. Demons, vampires are demons. And they suck the life out of you. Instead of installing the life into you, and every day you wake up with a greater smile, and greater happiness, and more fulfillment. Thy will be done on earth as it in heaven, bringing heaven to earth, making it more fulfilled, making it greater. That's what's supposed to be happening. So you don't hear those ambulances. So again, I'm not in for the negativity. I'm in for the positivity and minimizing the negativity. And wherever I went, I minimized it. And I'm all about the positivity. So you can take the satanic track and be all about the negativity, but our military is about keeping global peace and preventing nuclear wars and preventing large military actions and so on. Not to start them, but to prevent them from ever happening. That's their job. So the military is supposed to bring the fear of God into people where they wouldn't even think of doing it. And if they even get out of line, they can be wiped out instantly. So again, supposed to be swift, not like we did it, but like the blitzkrieg, swift and lethal, over with as fast as possible.